the best way to live, honestly, is to live as your higher self. I'm telling you this, man, because it's actually so worth it. You might go back and forth. You might live a life where you're like, sometimes you're doing well, sometimes you're not. I mean, to be honest, man, that's inevitable. But the sacrifice that you make to be the higher version of you, the more conscious version of you, dude, it's completely worth it. You see, what I'm learning as I feel it more is that this is what life is about. Dude, it's about being your higher self. You know exactly what I mean when I say that. You have direct experiences of being your higher self, man. Of course you do. You wouldn't resonate with this content if you didn't. You know what that is. Honestly though, man, you notice how there are certain things, man, that you can remove. Like, again, for me, man, I always mention it. Pornography, that was a huge thing for me. I never really felt my higher self. Never really. In glimpses I did, but now, honestly, man, I feel it all the time. And it's like a feedback loop that you get, because you do it and you're like, oh, wow, that's it. Like, knowing myself, I know that when I was using pornography lots and when I was using weed lots, especially together, you could say I was artificially manufacturing higher self experiences. But honestly, man, yeah, there was probably some spirituality within them. But to be honest, man, I was doing it for escapism. So it's kind of this. What you got to do is you got to know yourself and you got to feel yourself. You feel you when all the impurities are stripped away and it's just you. It's a certain cleanliness of experience, a certain purity of experience. You're really clear. Your channel is clear. You feel you. So honestly, man, the thing that's probably helped me the most is just removing impurities. And this is the thing, man. So anytime we talk about self-discipline, this is what we mean. We basically mean do the work to remove the barriers and the impurities, the stuff that is stopping you from feeling yourself. And the thing is, man, when you feel yourself, you'll prefer it so much that you'll actually be okay with applying the discipline. Yeah, because when we're disciplined, we have to give up stuff. We have to say no to stuff. Like each evening, man, I want to, eat some nice food, but I just say no a lot of the time because I know how I will feel the next day, and I will feel more conscious and more present and more myself. What helps me personally is to give myself experiences of this higher self as much as possible. Because as I said, man, you prefer it. It's way better. And so if it helps, man, this is the insight. This is the thing that kind of did it for me. So what happens over time, especially as you're treading the spiritual path, is truth with a capital T. Truth, dude, it purifies you. So the more you stand in truth, the more you sit in truth, the more you let truth heal you and purify you and cleanse you, the more mature you become. And this is emotional maturity. It's also spiritual maturity. And honestly, man, I think this is maybe one of the biggest things that kind of changed things for me. Because, I know myself, man. And I know the things that I love. I know I love certain sugary treats and desserts and stuff. Or, I used to love weed. I used to love it so much. Dude, one time, man, when I was studying at university, I even wrote a screenplay on basically on weed. It was about this guy who had this relationship with this woman, but the woman turned out to just be weed. It's a whole thing, man. But anyway, dude, I used to love freaking weed. Yeah. Now, I know some of you are interested in a more conscious take on weed, and maybe we'll go there at some point. For now, we're not going to touch on that just yet, but maybe a little bit later down the line. Anyway, man, the path, you know what it is, man? It's you going back and forth between indulging in the thing that you want to do and basically doing the opposite, which I would say is sitting in truth or just being with the present moment. That's the same thing. So present moment, truth, God, love, they're all the same thing. Now, it doesn't really feel like love too much when you're just sitting in the present moment and you're maybe resisting it. Love is quite like an advanced, quite non-dual spiritual experience. But it's important for me to tell you that it is the same thing, because if you do sit in that silence, brother, and you let those desires pass, you will clean up your experience. And that's the thing. So the way that you do it, the way that you feel your higher self more, is you clean up your experience. It's like a long-term process of cleaning your soul. Soul cleaning. That's what you're doing. And you can clean your soul in many different ways. The best way, honestly, man, the best way is to be conscious, to do everything consciously. It's not just to meditate as like an isolated thing. No, you want to be conscious, experience everything consciously, experience your emotions consciously, notice your energy consciously, be in relationships consciously. Because when you're conscious, you notice stuff, you feel stuff, you become aware of stuff. And when you raise your awareness and you place this awareness on all things, well, honestly, man, it matures you spiritually. And that's what I'm mentioning here as the thing that really helps you be your higher self. Last thing I'll mention is that, dude, it takes ages. It takes ages, man. You got to be really patient with yourself, okay? Because sometimes you might go back to your old life or your old habits. And if that happens, it's not what you think, okay? It's not bad. You're not regressing. You're not going backwards. No. What you do in that moment is you have self-forgiveness. And you come back to your wisdom and you realize, that's not for me. I know that I want to be my higher self. So I'm going to make the right choices. Yeah. Again, it all boils down to emotional and spiritual maturity. You will make the right choices which help you feel your higher self once you've got that maturity. It's not just that you have experiences of maturity, it's that you become the maturity itself. You embody this maturity. And that is your ticket to freedom, my friend. We're going to wrap things up there, my friend. Lots of love. Take care. And as always, man, peace.